Good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, mi gente. Welcome to Daily Discipline number 120. Today is February the 13th, 2019. My name's Rob Hoback, and my question for the day is, does our generosity really, really matter? I'm sure you've all thought about that. We're constantly bombarded to give. And most of us aren't in a situation where we got this big pile of cash. Like, I don't know what to do with that. I have so much left after I take care of my obligations that this is just sitting over here. I was waiting for somebody to come ask me for something. Right? Most of us aren't in that position. So, and I know that all of us have thought long and hard about giving some money away or something like that. And like, does it really matter? Well, we're going to touch back on that in just a minute. For now, I want to talk about my IMs because I've been lacking on that. I was over there reading them this morning. Got a couple new ones. Confident, right? The more I think about it, the more I compartmentalize some people who are negative in my life and are often negative to me about anything I do, and I allow that to affect me. As I take a step back, get a little perspective, and say, okay, that's that one dipshit's opinion. What's the rest of the world think? What does the scoreboard say? Like, I'm actually a lot better than how a handful of people treat me. And I need to remember that. The thing I'm in, right? Like, we're 120 days into this. I'm not going to stop now. Like, we have to keep going because I'm telling you that my life continues to improve incrementally, little bit, day by day. And this is a fundamental part of it. Last thing, I'm a champion, right? Like, I've won so many times, I can't even keep it straight anymore. I don't know why I allow the negative thoughts to creep in, but I'm human. That's why it happens. So anyway, did I go through my thank yous? I don't think I did. So, hey, let's back up. Number one, thank you for joining, right? Like, I realize you've got other things that you could do with your time instead of sitting here and listening to me, or checking in on me, wherever you're here, right? So I sincerely appreciate it. We had a little dust up with one of our super fans over My Daily Bread versus Daily Discipline, and they left the fold, came back. I see the subscribers go up and down, and we're up to like 46, which is awesome. I mean, we've doubled this in 100 days, but incrementally, it's just going to continue growing and growing and growing, and we just have to keep showing up. So I sincerely appreciate it. I really do, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the engagement, all of it. So, but that's not my thank yous. My thank yous today goes to an organization, a former company known as DMI. Yeah, they're gone. They're part of like a bigger corporation. They've been bought and sold a couple of times. But that's where my dad worked when I was growing up. And I think I've shared this with you. The General Lee was an over-the-road truck driver. Still gets up in there every once in a while and, hauls some stuff, usually some feed or grain or something. Don't tell the IRS, though, because he's retired. Anyway, the reason I talk about this is because, it was a very family environment, DMI. The family that owned it were a very religious family. They were very involved in their church and their community. And it was a different religion than we were. We grew up in a Baptist, I think it was Baptist. Yeah, it was Baptist. First one, I don't even know. It felt like a cult, the first church we went to, looking back at it. And then we went to a larger, organized Baptist church and school. Anyway, the point of it, that's irrelevant. At one point, my dad got laid off. This would have been early 80s, right? This is about the days, maybe it was late 70s, early 80s, doesn't matter. But I just remember that it was a difficult economic time for my family. I remember even as a kid, you can feel the difference between when things are going well financially and things aren't, even at a young age. And that was about the time I got this, right? Remember this story about this football? And when I show people this football and I tell them the story, I'm like, this is what I got for Christmas. Not one of the gifts I got for Christmas. This is what I got for Christmas one year because we didn't have any money because my dad got laid off. And it wasn't my dad's fault. It wasn't like my dad didn't work hard. It was an economic recession. And they're like, nah, you, guy on the bottom of the totem pole, you go ahead and go home with all your kids, And then one of these times that this happened, my dad had a heart attack. Like, no insurance. This is back before the Cobra days. It's just like, we're going to lay you off. And then boom, you're just laid off. And then my dad has a heart attack. probably due to the stress. Anyway, as you can imagine, that was a very, very difficult time for my family. And I vividly remember a group of people that worked with my dad who were all part of another church organization coming to our house to check up on my dad. And I remember my dad saying, "Hey, some people from work are coming over." Tell my mom, and my mom's like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, they said they wanted to come see us." And so, we kind of all huddled around, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget a guy handed my dad an envelope, and my dad looking at it and handed it to me, and just kind of like motioned it to me, like, "Pump the brakes, just calm down." And I remember just looking in there, and it was just packed full of $100 bills. And sorry. Sorry about that. Had to pull myself together. Anyway, I remember my dad just being overcome emotionally, and I've seen him that way 3 times in my life. Once when he had the heart attack, he was laying in the hospital. I think it was just the enormity of everything, knowing that he almost died, being scared, knowing what was ahead of his family, and knowing that there wasn't a whole lot he could do about it. So I remember sitting there looking at him thinking, man, I wish I could do something to help. If there was a kid, there was nothing I could do. So anyway, these guys came over and handed us this envelope. Jeez. We can get through this, right? And I remember them saying, "Hey, please don't mention this at work. Like, this isn't a work thing. This is a human thing of where those people that came over, they recognized what it." Hold on. Okay, so we're back. All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, it was clear to me, even as a young kid, that the religion didn't matter, right? And they even said, they're like, "Look, this was a collection we took up at our church for your family," because we knew, like they knew it was shitty the way that my dad was treated. They knew that it was shitty the way that, like, we were just exposed, left out there, just like nobody cared, right? And, you know, I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, well, why does this have to be a secret at work, right? Like, why does, and I never understood that until I got older. And it's like, oh, okay. So, like, you can't go to work and act like, hey, it's kind of shitty the way you treated that family over there, because then you're in danger, right? So, what's my point is that, as I've grown up, I've been on the other side of that multiple times, right? Sometimes it's been random in that, there was many times it's been random, right? That I've seen somebody in a moment when they need help and just stepped in, did the right thing. And so, why is this on my mind? I've shared with you guys, there's a couple things going on in my life right now where I just, people have not done the right thing by me. And that's hard. We all do. And I was just reading an article this morning about, all these young Indian kids who were taken advantage of by a doctor. And, I was a poor kid. We were the kids that that people helped, that people took pity on. And a lot of times people love to tell you about that. And so that's probably part of the head trash that I carry around with me. But I also remember just the feeling of being grateful, the feeling of knowing that somebody cared for us as human beings. And it didn't matter what kind of clothes we wore, it didn't matter where we went to church, where we went to school, any of that stuff. And so I've tried to carry that with me and pay that forward. And like we talked about earlier, just being the light, right? When things are tough, when things are when they don't make sense, just be the light. We don't have to engage in the negativity. We don't have to perpetuate it. It's our job to be the light. So with that, I think I'm done for the day. Sorry about the cry. Nah, I'm not sorry, right? It's all good. Like, this is on my mind. It's touched my heart. And just wanted to share it with you guys. Hands up. Peace out. We are better together. I'll be back tomorrow. Can't wait to see you. Have a great day today. And when you get the opportunity to bless somebody, please don't just walk by. Don't ignore it. You'll know. You'll know when you're in the situation. And just know that there could be somebody over there on the other side of that that'll never forget it, and then they'll take it forward. And it'll be because of your generosity. All right? Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.